and welcome back to another episode of Creating Change. My name is Jillian Walsh. I'm the founder and clinical director of Change Creates Change Eating Disorder Care. We're a center that specializes in the eating disorder care of children, youth, and their families across Canada. And today I'm here to talk about 4 ways to avoid refeeding syndrome. So a big caveat here. If you're not quite sure what the refeeding or what refeeding syndrome is, please head to our descriptions below and find the links to all of the other videos around refeeding syndrome. What is it? What causes it? Why are we worried about it? And you can find videos as well as blog posts on our website. That's all linked in the description. So just pause here for a second, go down, check that out, and then come back. All right. Let's jump into it. So, number 1, the first way to know about how to avoid refeeding syndrome if you're going through this process at home is to start low. What that means is think about what you're currently eating and aim for perhaps one more thing today than you had yesterday. We do not want to set these astronomical goals because A, it doesn't necessarily give us a great chance of achieving those goals, but more importantly, if we do too much too soon, there's a significant risk of refeeding syndrome. And if you've watched the other videos, you know we want to avoid that. So number 1, start low. Okay, number 2 is go slow. What I mean by that is if you did step 1 and said, okay, I'm just gonna eat one more food than I did yesterday, make sure that you're using a slow and gradual process when you increase the amounts of these foods as well. We do not want to rush this process, especially if you're doing it under minimal supervision in your home. Now, don't forget, we strongly recommend that you do this hand in hand with your healthcare provider, ideally somebody that's trained in eating disorder care. But we also recognize that not everybody has the privilege to access that. So if you're going to be doing the refeeding process on your own at home, at least start here and try and minimize your risk of complications, most notably refeeding syndrome. All right, number 3 is limit exercise. We do not want to put any more stress on your body by asking it to fuel any sort of extra movement that you don't need to be doing right now. Further, there's a ton of risk that comes with exercising throughout the refeeding process, but in eating disorder recovery as a whole. As we know, or most of us know, if you've been here at the channel for a while, that malnutrition can really have a negative impact on our bone mineral density. What that means is that if we've been living with an eating disorder for any amount of time, our bones tend to soften and they can even get a little bit holy, something called osteopenia or osteoporosis. So we really don't want to stress the bones out or the system out anymore by adding on exercise or even continuing exercise throughout the refeeding process. The final piece there is that it can actually make the refeeding process much more difficult and much more uncomfortable. So the big take-home message is put exercise on hold for now. All right, and the 4th way to avoid refeeding syndrome is to do it under the supervision of a healthcare team. There's many ways that we can keep an eye on the early signs of refeeding syndrome to make sure that we put preventions or protective factors into place to prevent it from happening or from it occurring in a larger capacity. So number 4 of the best ways to avoid refeeding syndrome is to do this hand in hand with a healthcare team. All right, folks, if you're thinking about, okay, let's do this, I'm going to start the refeeding process, know that I am cheering you on. This is something that you can do, and I really want you to dig in, try and get some traction, because once we get that traction, the momentum is much easier to keep going. If you have any questions, you can always book in for a free consultation call if you're here in Canada. The link for that is going to be in the description below. And don't forget, share the message. If you help us increase the knowledge in the general population around eating disorders, we can make sure that more eating disorders are detected, which gives us a better chance at eating disorder recovery right across the world. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you again next week. And don't forget, you can hit the bell, you can get an alert to find out exactly when the next video drops. All right, folks, thank you for being here. Bye for now.